Hello, once again, Star Wars and Unboxing fans. Welcome to another episode, a huge episode of Darth Tuba's Star Wars Unboxing Show. I'm your host, Darth Tuba, and what do I have here today? I have a smorgasbord, a hodgepodge, an eclectic mix, if you will, of many different Star Wars items. Some new, some old, some exclusive, some full price, some on sale. I mean, it's just a huge amount. And I was thinking to myself, well, I want to break this up and show it to you in different things. But then I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to show it to you all in one shot. Why? Because I'm crazy. I don't know why, but just because. It all kind of happened in a case of basically a toy hunt that was essentially kind of impromptu. I didn't expect to do it. I wasn't expected to be out there. But due to certain circumstances around, I had some free time. So I decided to take a walk around, check some things out. And I found a lot of cool stuff, and I'm so excited to share it with you here. Okay, so we're going to go through some of this stuff now. I'll be honest, some of what you're seeing here will not actually be unboxed, and I think you'll see why when we get to them. So we'll kind of show them and get them out of the way. I have a lot of stuff in this shot, as I'm realizing. So I do want to quickly point out this. This is from the last episode. Okay, the episode with the holiday Funko Pops, the 3 or 4 holiday Funko Pops. If you want to make a comment there, you have a chance to win this Attack of the Clones, Ashla and Jumpa Younglings 2-pack. Okay, so everything else that you see there, just ignore it. Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. All right, so what do we have here? Well, first of all, I went into my local Walmart, and sure enough, they had the vintage line, the new wave. Now, I will say this. The vintage line is I've said it in previous episodes, the vintage line is the one thing I will not unbox. Why? Not for any sense of thinking it's going to be valuable someday, not for any investment. No, I simply like to have the vintage set. Now, there might come a time in the future where I will even bend that rule, okay? It depends on how many figures they decide to make. Because for a while there, I wasn't unboxing any of the figures. And then, because I liked the packaging, I liked the display, I thought it was nice. But as, one line turned into the next year's line, turned into 3 years, turned into 4 years, turned into 8 years. I think now we're approaching 24 years that this line has been in existence. The newer renaissance of Star Wars figures have been in existence. I'm not talking about the vintage line. That was only 6 years. This is 24 years. That's a lot. So eventually, like I said, I had to do some unboxing. I did some, selling off of the collection, thinning it out to make room for new stuff. So we'll see how long that lasts. But right now I'm keeping them together because I do like the setup. So what do we got here? Well, looks like we have VC 125, 126, 128, 9, 30, and 31. And 124. I don't see 127. It's the only one I'm missing. Not sure which one that is, honestly. Oh, it might be Snoke. It might be Supreme Leader Snoke. But anyway, so what we have here, well, I'm going to do these out of order. And again, I'll get some close-up shots of these. We've got Luke Skywalker. And by the way, in addition to these, they're not just vintage collection carded figures. These are the fully articulated figures that are a little bit of a higher price point. My thoughts on that. I know a lot of people complain about it. I do have to say that they don't seem to be selling a lot of these. They don't seem to be having a lot of them stocked. But I see them one week, and then for the most part, I see most of them missing the next week. So, at least in my neck of the woods. Where I live, it seems like I'm the only collector. And that's always a nice thing to have, to be the only collector in your town, because it's nice to walk in and see, oh, look, a set. Boom. I'll take them off the shelf now. So, there you go. So, we have Luke Skywalker from the island of Ahch-To. Okay. And again, they're very similar in a lot of ways to the 5-point articulation figures, only these, if we took them out of the package, would move more. I think it's kind of ironic that I don't take them out of the package because, well, what are you going to do? We also have Han Solo from the Solo Star Wars story. I do like the logo, how it's incorporated into the Star Wars racing stripe around it. That's really cool. So that is awesome. We also have, all right, here's one. I find this one interesting. I'm going to come back to this one. We have from Rogue One. We have the Imperial Assault Tank Driver. And a lot of these figures were already released in some capacity or another. Okay, so I guess I'm one of those guys that takes one out of the package and leaves one in. It's just this is the package I leave them in. So really cool, like the the vintage art, the vintage style. I mean, it just works really well. I like that they now include. I don't know if this was always punched or not, but I like that it's a hole there. Makes it easier to display, so that's cool. We have again from Solo: A Star Wars Story, the Range Trooper. Really cool figure. Okay, again, these are all bigger, multi-pointed articulations, so that's good. We have Emphy's Nest. The way this figure is displayed in the car, it looks like he has no arms, or she has no arms. If you haven't seen the movie yet, go see the movie. All right, Emphy's Nest. Really cool. It's got some cool features with it. All right, so that's neat. Got some cool additives to the weapon that you don't normally see, so that's a neat thing. And we have, Captain Cassian Andor, which some people were speculating that they wonder how much in advance this was decided, because now, in new news, if you haven't heard, there is going to be a Cassian Andor themed television series on the new Disney streaming service coming out next year, Disney Plus, and Diego Luna, the actor, is returning to the role. Obviously, will be a prequel to Rogue One, but I find it interesting that they included this character, but then again, they did have some other Rogue One characters, so maybe just to kind of balance it out. So that's cool. Now, this one, I wanted to leave this one out for a minute. This is Dr. Aphra, which I believe, and I apologize if I'm getting this wrong, but I believe this is actually a comic book character. I did have a Dr. Aphra figure that I opened up from a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, so I've talked a little bit more about Dr. Aphra there. I just thought this was interesting that they put this on a Star Wars card. For those kids at home, this is exactly what the Star Wars first series of cards look like. Okay, they had the Star Wars logo at the top and the racing stripe. That was it. That's what we had. Okay, so you only see these kind of cards for the characters that were in the first Star Wars Episode 4 New Hope movie. But in this case, this character was in the comic book. I believe it was a comic book based on some stuff with Darth Vader, and yet here they are. So since I already have one open, I'll definitely keep this one in the package, but I just thought I wanted to point out that it was interesting they put it on the Star Wars card. All right. So what does that leave us with? Well, we got a couple, like I said, a hodgepodge of a few different things here. We've got, first we'll talk about some exclusives. The Disney Store had a Black Series Stormtrooper with some really cool blast effects, which we'll open up. We also have Zuckuss. All right, the character, one of the bounty hunters, Zuckuss. We have the Captain Phasma with the kind of broken away face and the silver baton. So, and kind of the battle damaged. The one that was battle damaged immediately before her demise, question mark? I'm still wondering if she's going to be back. We'll see. And then I wanted to point these two out. Five Below have gotten a huge stock of Black Series figures from Rogue One, including a huge line. They had Cassian, they had Jyn Erso, they had Admiral Krennic, they had the Death Trooper, and I noticed that they had Chirrut and Baze, Chirrut Imwe and Baze Malbus, my two favorite characters from the movie. And I just realized that I don't think I've ever purchased these. And I'll say, and one of the reasons I say that is because I looked around the collection and did not notice them anywhere. So it's possible that I do have them from some place that I'm not seeing, but I don't believe so. I believe that for all intents and purposes, I do not have these figures. So I was really excited to see them at Five Below for basically $5 a piece. Now, does that bode well for the Star Wars collecting hobby if a lot of toys find their way into the Five Below stores? Five Below, which by the way, anybody doesn't have it near you, it's essentially like a dollar store, only it's $5 or less. So there's a little bit higher end items there. Personally, I'm not too concerned with that. Honestly, there's so much collecting to go around and so many different products that if certain products were to back off and take a break, I wouldn't really be that upset about it. If they keep making them, great. If Hasbro is making the money they need to make on these figures, then they're going to continue making them. And sure enough, I've seen newer ones come out too. So we'll see what happens. Okay, and then lastly, we have these. We have a Hoth Leia Force Link figure, and we have a series. And this also came from the Five Below, the 2-pack of helmets. So I've been going on a while. So let's do some quick unboxing. But I am going to need my trusty Force Link for this one. All right. So I'll start with Leia, and again I will be sure to include the some close-up shots. So we get this going. All right. Oh, I like how she comes with the Rebel fleet gun. That's cool. All right. And these, of course, are 5 points of articulation. Is this not the one? There it is. Let's put our thing.
Count me in. I hope you know what you're doing. Well, it only takes one to sound the alarm.
It's from Return of the Jedi.
I hope you know what you're doing.
Evacuate remaining ground staff.
Well, it only takes one to sound the alarm.
I hope you know what you're doing. We're going to get pulverized if we stay out here much longer.
It's nice to have a little Carrie Fisher dialogue in there. So, pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. All right. Well done. I'm going to get her. I don't know if you're going to see her, but I'm going to put her right down here in the front. All right. And next we'll do the helmets. Get these out of the way. I do like the helmet idea. I think it's nice, particularly for people who do like to collect props, but don't have $900 to spend on or don't want to blow, I should say, $900 on a single prop helmet. For those of you that do, I applaud you. Good for you. Continue to do so, because if I ever, win a Mega Millions, maybe I'll line up a set of full-size helmets. Don't you hate when this happens? Ugh. Well, this is what they say. Thank goodness this isn't live. But nonetheless, I don't even know if I'm going to bother cutting it. So what I usually do when that comes into play is that I take out a nice X-Acto knife here and just kind of start to cut through it to get it there. All right, so we have our Death Trooper. Okay, which is really cool. And these little these helmet stands are really neat too. Don't know if you'll see them there. Yeah, again, I'll get some close-ups of it too. But that's really cool. And then we have this one. All right, come on. I believe this is a Rebel Trooper helmet. Here we go. Similar to the Leia helmet and Luke helmet from Andor, but obviously a little more worn, a little slightly different design. And again, I'll get you some close-ups of those. Okay. Oh, I forgot about this dude. I forgot all about Mr. Rogue One Death Trooper. Okay, these are those like 12-inch figures that they release. Again, found it in a dollar store for $5. I don't think they're all that great in terms of the design of them, but I also think that in some ways I like them because they do kind of harken back to the original figures that came out. This thing has this cute thing that you have to put around his leg. This thing pulled me. So. Cute battle features here. Gotta get this. I gotta get this thing the leg off. I love the Death Troopers. If anybody's been to the Disney parks in the last 2 years, they have now included them as part of the characters that are coming through. I don't believe you have any other kind of sound other than just being able to do that. I don't think there's any talking or anything of that nature. So it's a little less play factor than the other 12-inch figures because having the electronics is great, but it does come with a price in that it has to. It's really kind of a posed figure, so you have to be careful with that. But that's okay. All right, why don't we start with oldest to newest? So we'll do Chirrut Imwe. I am one with the Force. The Force is with me. I love this character. And man, when they said they were announcing a Cassian Andor show, I am so still holding out for a Baze and Malbus, which I think they could do. I do theorize that they could possibly be guests on a Cassian show. And the reason I say that is because Cassian, I don't know, in my humble opinion, Cassian seemed to have had a familiarity with them. Maybe he didn't work with them hugely or directly, but he seemed to have a little bit of familiarity. He just kind of like, we're not here to make friends, that's what he told Jin. Maybe he had no real interest in them, but that means that they could have had an adventure together or at least been in a similar situation. So that's really cool. But and by the way, folks, please put in the comments if I did actually do this. I know, don't confuse these with the Disney Elite series. And I think that's where I got myself into trouble, because the Disney Elite series, which are those metallic figures, they're a little bit bigger than the Black Series figures. So, but they kind of look like them. So it's possible that I thought I already had them when I was thinking about getting them. Okay, Baze was one that I kind of, oh no, don't anticipate. Oh no, don't anticipate. There we go. Baze was one because of all the accoutrements that it comes with. It comes with that big gun with the big backpack thing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did not have this one. Hey, this guy's going to be a little bit of a challenge here. Again, I'll put close-ups. Oops. Oop. Lost a piece. I lost this. Yeah. Oh, poor Chirrut. All right, Chirrut. Come on. Get in there. Stay. Okay, Baze. He comes with all sorts of stuff here. He's got his, wow, he got a lot of extra plastic in his, thing. So, wow, that's really cool. And sometimes, the only thing I don't like about these is that they, they're sort of made up to, like, to align with everything, but it's like you gotta have to sort of guess. I guess this is right, but I don't know for sure. So it's like, it's kind of weird, but it's kind of like the some of the pieces that they put together for what's it called? Gentle Giant. Their little statues. They have them kind of. Yeah, that's pretty easy. Okay, they have them set up as kind of a. Oh. I'm not 100% sure where this little doohickey... Oh, there it goes. This little tiny piece that goes in his back. Kind of weird. This is the kind of stuff that I like. I mean, again, I'll show these. It's just a little tiny plastic bit that fits in his back. That's it. I mean, I appreciate its attention to detail, but holy Toledo. That's kind of strange. All right. Got to give him a bigger stance so I can get his... How many do we need? All right, there he goes. All right, so there it is. Finally, Baze and Malbus united again in Black Series format. I really hope they bring them back, even in some capacity. I mean, some people say, well, I think this is a comic book or a story or a novel. I'm no offense to those, but I like visual imagery, so... All right, we got Captain Phasma, which comes with... Now, this Phasma is an interesting character because they come with... Sorry if my mic's picking up a lot of that. Now, this is interesting. There is... And I'll get a close-up of it, but there is a... shot of her eye, okay, but you can't take the helmet off, or if you do, I think somebody did, they kind of forced the helmet off, and essentially it's just an eye with the rest of it being a blank face, which is kind of freaky. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. I don't understand. Oh, maybe this goes. I'm not 100% sure what the deal is with this little stick here. So I'm going to assume that we're going to put the gun in one hand. We're going to put the staff in another. And of course, it comes with this other staff. I think this is the staff that it looks like before you open it up really big, which unfortunately, And it's just a minor little thing, not a big, huge complainer. But unfortunately, it kind of... Well, I'll say this. I've been starting to not keep the boxes only because, when there's 100 figures out there, 100 of these boxes take up a lot of room. But these, whenever there's a character that has multiple arms or different heads or whatever, for whatever reason, I do like to keep the box. But in this case, I used the small staff when it's in small position. I used it to kind of grip it better so it can hold both. Okay, so there you go. All right, going back old school here, we got Zuckuss, the wonderful, wonderful creature that had no lines in the movie, and in fact barely moved in the movie, yet has become a fascinating character over the years as being one of the bounty hunters, just kind of made up of people just wanting to know their story. What is the story with these bounty hunters? So they've found life in the area. Oh, it's not really right there. It's not the right hand. They found added life in other formats, whether they be stories or books or... All right, dude. Okay, he doesn't want to hold his gun. Fine, you can hold your gun on this side. See what I care. And of course, I've mentioned in the past, I think we did a 4LOM. And if we did, I'll put him with him. We've told the story about us old school guys have always come to know this as 4LOM, and the other character, which is now really 4LOM, was Zuckuss, because that's the way the packaging was incorrectly labeled. So for all these years, that's what we just never thought of it any other way. Except if you think 4LOMs definitely sounds like a droid, and Zuckuss, so what we originally thought was Zuckuss, looked a lot like a droid. So there you go. All right, and lastly, in this super meaty unboxing episode, save the best for last. This is a blaster fire stormtrooper. I love how it's actually including, like, getting hit. So he comes with a blaster bolt. Then he comes with his own little stand, which is nice. Sorry for the noise. Huge. These were, I think the last three I did were Disney exclusives, or at least they were purchased at Disney. Okay, so we got, we'll put the little blaster in here. We'll put the, I think it's like that. There we go. So he's got his, okay. Now, it's interesting, this stand is very reminiscent of the stands that were coming out in the early 2000s with the figures. It's very similar. It looks like you can link them to other stands. And then you just place this here. Okay. And then you got these two blaster explosions. You just place them here and here. And there you got your, instant diorama display. Whew! So a lot of stuff going on this week. A lot of neat stuff. You notice and in addition to that, I got my other Santa Yoda Kohl's shirt. Again, these are available at Kohl's department stores. I don't know if you can buy them online. Probably could. Check them out. Got some great, that Kohl's is like the one place, man, I really appreciate as a shopper. Even when they have Star Wars and stuff, you can find them for less money than what you would find in other retailers. They're usually overpriced, but once you start adding, if you get 30% coupons and you have Kohl's Cash and things like that, it really, really does benefit to kind of stick to their program and try to, make purchases there. So, and that's just for, I'm not talking about toys, it's anything. So take advantage of those. But here we go. Okay, so many cool things that were out. Check out Five Below. Yes, I recognize it's discount, and I do know that could pose a serious pullback on the amount of merchandise being released for Star Wars. But you got to remember something. Number one, there is another movie coming out. Number 2, there is streaming services coming out, and who knows what they're going to do to help market that. Number 3, we have Galaxy's Edge in Walt Disney World and Disneyland opening up, which is going to be a whole slew of new merchandise. There is in no way a slowdown going to happen. It's just going to evolve into different things. So pick and choose what you like. I mean, I think it's a better world right now for those who collect certain characters, because it'll always come out with new characters in different ways. So just keep that in mind. Anyway, that'll do it for this episode of Darth Tuba Star Wars Unboxing Show. Like, subscribe, share, hit the notification button. Check me out on Instagram and Twitter at Darth Tuba. Darth Tuba's Star Wars Unboxing page on Facebook. Email me if you have any questions. Leave comments, especially in last week with the holiday Funko Pops. Leave a comment, okay? And we will close that in a few weeks. And we will pick a random winner to send them Ashla and Jempa, the younglings. Okay, so thank you so much again. Keep your eyes open. We will be having a Star Wars tree trimming party going live in a little while, and we'll get a nice tree. You can see that's one of the things I'm kind of straightening up down here, so we can get that set up. Thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you.